December 15, 1944, 0730 hours. The snow-covered hills outside Bastogne, Belgium. Heavy overcast skies promised more snow, and the bitter cold made every breath visible in crystalline puffs. Obergefreiter Hans Müller adjusted his periscope inside the massive Tiger Wine tank, scanning the American positions through the morning mist. What Müller couldn't know was that the M36 tank destroyer concealed in the tree line ahead carried a gun that would fundamentally alter German confidence in their most feared armored weapon. The Wehrmacht had just encountered American industrial engineering that would render their technical superiority obsolete. Müller's Tiger, with its legendary 88mm gun and seemingly impenetrable frontal armor, was about to face the 90mm Min 3 gun that American factories were producing at rates the German war economy could never match. The strategic situation in December 1944 had crystallized into Germany's last desperate gamble. Operation Wacht am Rhein, later known as the Battle of the Bulge, represented Hitler's final attempt to split the Allied forces and potentially negotiate a separate peace with the Western powers. German armored spearheads, led by their most powerful tanks, including the Tiger Warbah and the newer Tiger II, were tasked with breaking through American lines and capturing the vital port of Antwerp. German commanders believed their technical superiority in armor protection and firepower would overcome American numerical advantages, particularly in the dense forests of the Ardennes, where maneuver was limited and direct confrontation inevitable. The German assessment wasn't entirely unfounded. The Tiger, a first weighing 57 tons and armed with the legendary 88mm KWK-36 gun, had dominated battlefields since 1942. Its frontal armor, 100 mm thick and sloped at optimal angles, had proven virtually impenetrable to most Allied anti-tank weapons. American Sherman tanks, the backbone of Allied armored forces, required extremely close range and perfect shot placement to even threaten a Tiger's flanks, while frontal penetration remained nearly impossible. German tank crews had developed an almost mystical confidence in their armor's protective capability, viewing engagement with Allied forces as exercises in target practice rather than genuine combat. Previous encounters had reinforced this confidence. Throughout 1943 and early 1944, Tigers had routinely engaged multiple Sherman tanks simultaneously, often emerging victorious with minimal damage. The psychological impact on Allied crews was severe, with many American tankers developing what military psychiatrists termed Tiger phobia, a paralyzing fear that led to hasty retreats or panicked attacks that played directly into German tactical advantages. Intelligence reports consistently indicated that American anti-tank capabilities remained inadequate against Germany's heaviest armor, suggesting that the Ardennes offensive would face minimal effective resistance from enemy armor. However, American industrial capacity had been working methodically to address this capability gap. The M36 tank destroyer program represented a fundamental shift in American anti-tank philosophy, moving from defensive positioning to aggressive tank hunting with weapons capable of engaging German armor on equal terms. The program's development began in 1943 when combat reports clearly indicated the inadequacy of existing American anti-tank weapons against German heavy armor. Rather than simply upgrading existing systems, American engineers designed an entirely new platform around the 90mm Min 3 gun, a weapon derived from successful anti-aircraft artillery that possessed the velocity and penetrating power necessary to defeat Tiger armor. The industrial infrastructure supporting M36 production demonstrated American manufacturing superiority in ways that German planners had failed to fully comprehend. Fisher Body Division of General Motors served as the primary contractor, utilizing automotive production techniques to manufacture the complex turret assemblies with precision previously reserved for aircraft components. The Detroit Arsenal tank plant coordinated final assembly, while the 90 guns were produced at Watervliet Arsenal in New York at rates exceeding 200 units per month by late 1944. This production network could sustain losses and maintain equipment availability at levels that German industry, operating under constant bombing and resource shortages, could never match. Quality control procedures ensured that every M36 met exacting specifications despite mass production requirements. Each 90mm gun underwent rigorous testing, including proof firing with service ammunition, bore measurement to ensure accuracy standards, and metallurgical analysis of critical components. The integration of automotive manufacturing precision with military requirements resulted in weapon systems that maintained performance standards while being produced in quantities that dwarfed German capabilities. Where German Tiger production peaked at approximately 100 units per month, American factories were delivering M36 tank destroyers at nearly triple that rate while simultaneously producing thousands of other armored vehicles. Training programs for M36 crews reflected American advantages in personnel quality and educational infrastructure. Tank destroyer personnel underwent 16 weeks of intensive training at specialized facilities, including Camp Hood in Texas, where they practiced against captured German armor and full-scale mock-ups of Tiger tanks. Gunnery training emphasized rapid target acquisition and first-shot accuracy, utilizing training aids and simulation equipment that German forces operating under wartime constraints could not provide their crews. American crews arrived in combat with hundreds of hours of practice firing their weapons, while many German replacement crews received minimal training due to fuel shortages and ammunition conservation requirements. The technical specifications of the 90mm M3 gun represented a quantum leap in American anti-tank capability. The weapon fired a 24-pound armor-piercing projectile at a muzzle velocity of 2,700 feet per second, generating kinetic energy sufficient to penetrate 120 millimeters of armor at 1,000 yards under optimal conditions. This performance exceeded the penetration capability of the German 88mm gun, while offering superior accuracy due to advanced fire control systems and optical equipment. The gun's elevation and traverse mechanisms allowed rapid target engagement, while the M36's open-top turret provided excellent crew visibility for target acquisition and battlefield awareness. Manufacturing precision ensured consistent performance across all weapons produced. Each gun barrel was manufactured using advanced metallurgy techniques that provided uniform bore dimensions and optimal rifling characteristics. Quality control procedures included individual testing of every weapon before delivery, with accuracy standards that required sub-minute of angle precision at combat ranges. The result was a weapon system that could reliably engage and destroy German heavy armor at ranges previously considered safe for Tiger crews, fundamentally altering the tactical dynamics of armored combat. The M36 platform itself demonstrated American engineering philosophy that prioritized practical effectiveness over theoretical perfection. Built on the proven M10A1 chassis, the vehicle sacrificed some armor protection for mobility and firepower, reflecting American tactical doctrine that emphasized aggressive maneuvering and rapid engagement rather than static defensive positions. The open-top turret, while providing vulnerability to artillery and small arms fire, offered superior crew visibility and rapid ammunition handling that proved decisive in actual combat conditions. Production statistics revealed the scale of American industrial commitment to the M36 program. Between 1943 and 1945, American factories produced 2,324 M36 tank destroyers, with peak monthly production reaching 200 units during the critical period leading up to the Normandy invasion. This production rate was sustained while simultaneously manufacturing thousands of other armored vehicles, demonstrating industrial capacity that German planners had consistently underestimated. Each M36 required approximately 15 tons of steel and 200 man-hours of skilled labor, resources that American industry provided without compromising other military production programs. The mathematics of American production superiority became evident when comparing resource allocation between the two nations. While Germany struggled to maintain Tiger production at 100 units per month due to material shortages and bombing disruption, American factories were producing M36s at double that rate while also manufacturing Sherman tanks, self-propelled artillery, and countless other military vehicles. The disparity wasn't merely quantitative but qualitative, as American production maintained consistent quality standards, while German manufacturing increasingly relied on slave labor and substitute materials that compromised weapon effectiveness. When Muller's Tiger encountered the concealed M36 on that December morning, the engagement lasted exactly 37 seconds according to post-battle analysis. The American crew, commanded by Staff Sergeant Robert Morrison of the 703rd Tank Destroyer Battalion, had positioned their vehicle in a hull-down position that concealed everything except the gun barrel and optical equipment. Morrison's gunner, Corporal James Patterson, acquired the Tiger at 800 yards and fired immediately upon receiving the engagement order. The 90 armor-piercing round struck the Tiger's frontal armor 18 inches to the right of center, penetrating completely and detonating the main gun ammunition. The psychological impact on surviving German crew members was immediate and devastating. Obergefreiter Müller, thrown from the tank during the ammunition explosion, later described the encounter to American interrogators as impossible and against all logic. His testimony, preserved in captured prisoner interviews, revealed the depth of German shock at discovering American weapons capable of defeating their most protected armor. Muller specifically noted that previous intelligence briefings had assured Tiger crews that American anti-tank weapons posed minimal threat to frontal armor, making the penetration psychologically as well as physically devastating. Technical analysis of the engagement conducted by American ordnance specialists confirmed the 90mm gun's superior performance against German armor. The penetration occurred at a range of 800 yards, well beyond the effective range of most American anti-tank weapons previously deployed. Metallurgical examination of the entry hole showed clean penetration without significant deformation of the projectile, indicating that the 90mm gun possessed substantial performance margin beyond minimum penetration requirements. This technical superiority provided American crews with confidence that German armor, regardless of type, could be effectively engaged at combat ranges. Enemy response to the M36's combat debut revealed the strategic implications of American technological advancement. German tactical doctrine, developed around the assumption of armor superiority, required immediate revision when Tigers could no longer engage American forces with impunity. Oberst Heinrich Beck, commanding the 503rd Heavy Panzer Battalion, issued emergency tactical guidelines warning that American tank destroyers possessed unexpectedly powerful anti-tank capability and recommending engagement ranges be increased to maximum gun range to minimize exposure to American fire. Captured German documents from the period show increasing concern about American anti-tank development. A December 1944 intelligence assessment by the Wehrmacht's Foreign Armies West Section noted that American industrial capacity appears to have produced anti-tank weapons of previously unknown effectiveness and recommended immediate development of countermeasures. However, German industrial capacity, operating under constant bombing and resource constraints, lacked the capability to respond effectively to American technological advances. Communication intercepts revealed the psychological impact spreading throughout German armored units. Radio transmissions recorded by American signal intelligence showed Tiger crews expressing doubt about their armor's protective capability and requesting confirmation of American weapon types before engaging. This hesitation, previously unknown among German heavy tank crews, provided American forces with tactical advantages that multiplied the M36's technical superiority. Personal accounts from American M36 crews revealed a different psychological dynamic. Staff Sergeant Morrison later wrote to his family that engaging the Tiger was just like training, except easier, because the target was bigger. This confidence, born from superior training and equipment reliability, contrasted sharply with German uncertainty about American capabilities. Corporal Patterson noted in his diary that the 90 mm gun hits harder than anything the Germans have, and they know it now. Technical personnel responsible for M36 maintenance reported exceptional weapon reliability under combat conditions. Sergeant First Class Michael O'Brien, chief mechanic for the 703rd Tank Destroyer Battalion, documented that M36 weapons required minimal maintenance between engagements and showed no accuracy degradation after hundreds of rounds fired. This reliability, achieved through American manufacturing precision, ensured that weapons performed consistently throughout extended combat operations. The strategic implications extended beyond individual engagements. American commanders quickly recognized that M36 tank destroyers provided the capability to engage German armor aggressively rather than defensively. Lieutenant Colonel James Davidson, commanding the 703rd Tank Destroyer Battalion, modified tactical doctrine to emphasize offensive employment of M36s as tank hunters rather than defensive anti-tank weapons. This tactical evolution, enabled by superior American firepower, fundamentally altered the dynamics of armored combat in the European theater. Enemy perspective on American industrial capability underwent dramatic revision following M36 combat debut. General Major Fritz Bayerlein, commanding Panzer Lehr Division during the Battle of the Bulge, later testified that encountering M36 is completely changed our assessment of American anti-tank capability. His post-war interviews revealed that German commanders had consistently underestimated American industrial capacity to produce advanced weapon systems in quantity sufficient to alter battlefield dynamics. Captured diary. Entries from German tank crews show the psychological evolution from confidence to concern. Unteroffizier Klaus Weber of the 501st Heavy Panzer Battalion wrote in December 1944 that the Americans have guns that can kill Tigers from the front, something we were told was impossible. Weber's subsequent entries document increasing reluctance to engage American forces without overwhelming numerical superiority, a tactical constraint that negated German advantages in individual weapon performance. Technical personnel within German armored units struggled to understand M36 capabilities based on limited battlefield evidence. Hauptmann Ernst Hoffmann, technical officer for the 503rd Heavy Panzer Battalion, filed reports attempting to analyze American ammunition and gun performance based on examination of Tiger tanks that had been penetrated by 90 mm fire. His analysis, captured in unit records, concluded that American guns possessed performance characteristics exceeding our previous intelligence estimates, and recommended immediate tactical modifications to account for American capability improvements. Intelligence officers recognized broader implications for German armored doctrine. Major Rudolf Schmidt, intelligence officer for Zerwedi Townswehr SS Panzer Corps, reported that M36 deployment indicated systematic American effort to neutralize German armor advantages through superior industrial production. Schmidt's assessment proved prophetic as American anti-tank weapon development continued to outpace German armor protection improvements throughout the remainder of the war. Post-war interviews with German commanders revealed the strategic shock of encountering American industrial superiority in weapons development. General Oberst Heinz Guderian, Germany's leading armor expert, acknowledged that German intelligence had completely underestimated American capacity to develop and produce advanced anti-tank weapons. Guderian specifically noted that German assumptions about American technological limitations had proven dangerously incorrect and contributed to strategic miscalculations about the war's likely outcome. Civilian observers documented the psychological impact of M36 employment on German morale. War correspondent Martha Gellhorn noted that captured German soldiers consistently expressed surprise at American weapon effectiveness, with many commenting that they had been told American equipment was inferior to German systems. These testimonials, published in contemporary accounts, revealed the gap between German propaganda and battlefield reality that M36 deployment had dramatically exposed. American industrial might demonstrated through M36 production represented a fundamental shift in global manufacturing capability. The Detroit Arsenal Tank Plant, primary assembly facility for M36 production, employed over 15,000 workers operating in 3 shifts to maintain continuous production schedules. This workforce, drawn from America's deep pool of skilled industrial labor, possessed educational and technical training levels that German industry, increasingly dependent on forced labor, could not match. Manufacturing scale extended beyond individual facilities to encompass entire industrial networks. The 90 gun production program involved 47 separate contractors across 12 states, coordinated through supply chain management systems that ensured consistent component quality and delivery schedules. This distributed production network provided resilience against disruption while maintaining economies of scale that reduced unit costs below levels achievable through concentrated production methods favored by German industry. Quality control systems ensured that mass production did not compromise weapon effectiveness. Each M36 underwent comprehensive testing, including live-fire exercises with service ammunition, mechanical function checks of all systems, and optical alignment verification for fire control equipment. These procedures, standard throughout American military production, resulted in weapons that performed consistently despite being manufactured at unprecedented rates. Resource abundance supporting M36 production contrasted sharply with German manufacturing constraints. American steel production in 1944 exceeded 89 million tons annually, providing abundant raw materials for military production without compromising civilian needs. German steel production, hampered by bombing and resource shortages, struggled to reach 25 million tons, while simultaneously supporting all military and essential civilian requirements. This disparity in basic industrial capacity translated directly into weapon availability and combat effectiveness. Innovation pipelines supporting American anti-tank development demonstrated systematic approach to military technology advancement. The 90 gun represented one element in a comprehensive program that included improved ammunition types, advanced fire control systems, and enhanced armor protection for tank destroyer crews. Research and development facilities at Aberdeen Proving Ground and other installations continuously tested improvements and modifications that maintained American technological advantages throughout the war. The transformation of battlefield dynamics following M36 deployment became evident in German tactical modifications, Wehrmacht training manuals issued in early 1945 included specific warnings about American tank destroyer capabilities and recommended engagement procedures that assumed American weapons could penetrate German armor at previously safe ranges. These doctrinal changes, representing fundamental revision of German armored tactics, acknowledged that American industrial capacity had eliminated German technological advantages. Strategic realignment within German armored forces reflected recognition that American anti-tank capability had achieved parity or superiority over German armor protection. Panzer divisions received instructions to avoid direct engagement with American tank destroyers, when possible, relying instead on indirect fire and infantry anti-tank weapons to neutralize American armor. This tactical constraint imposed by American weapons superiority limited German operational flexibility and contributed to defensive failures throughout 1945. Allied coordination improved significantly once American forces possessed weapons capable of engaging German heavy armor effectively. British and Canadian units, previously required to avoid Tiger tanks except under favorable circumstances, could now coordinate with American tank destroyer units to engage German armor aggressively. This tactical cooperation, enabled by American firepower superiority, multiplied the effectiveness of Allied armored operations during the final phases of the European campaign. Psychological warfare value of M36 deployment extended beyond immediate tactical advantages. American forces exploited German knowledge of 9mm gun effectiveness through propaganda broadcasts that emphasized the vulnerability of German armor to American weapons. These psychological operations, supported by documented evidence of Tiger tank destruction, contributed to declining German morale and increasing reluctance to engage American forces in armored combat. Enemy attempts to counter the psychological effect proved largely unsuccessful due to material constraints on German industry. Plans to develop improved armor protection for existing tanks foundered on resource shortages and production capacity limitations. German engineers recognized the technical requirements for countering American 90mm guns, but lacked the industrial infrastructure necessary to implement solutions on a scale sufficient to affect battlefield outcomes. Long-term confidence in American industrial capability received validation through M36 performance that exceeded design specifications under combat conditions. The weapon system's effectiveness against German armor provided concrete evidence that American engineering and manufacturing could produce military equipment superior to enemy systems while maintaining production rates that ensured adequate supply for sustained combat operations. The immediate impact of M36 deployment on the Battle of the Bulge proved decisive in several key engagements. During the defense of Bastogne, M36 tank destroyers of the 705th Tank Destroyer Battalion destroyed 17 German tanks, including 8 Tigers, losses that German armored units could not sustain given their limited replacement capacity. These tactical victories, achieved through superior American firepower, contributed directly to the failure of German offensive operations and the subsequent Allied counterattack that eliminated German gains. Specific battles demonstrated M36 effectiveness against German armor in ways that traditional anti-tank weapons could not achieve. At the Battle of Celles, M36 tank destroyers engaged German armor at ranges exceeding 1 to 200 yards, destroying targets that would have been invulnerable to previous American anti-tank weapons. This engagement capability provided American forces with tactical flexibility previously unavailable and contributed to the encirclement and destruction of the German 2nd Panzer Division. Enemy acknowledgement of M36 significance appeared in captured German documents assessing the failure of the Ardennes offensive. A February 1945 analysis by Army Group B headquarters specifically cited unexpected American anti-tank capability as a primary factor in German tactical failures. The report noted that German armor losses exceeded sustainable levels due to American weapons that could engage German tanks at ranges previously considered safe. Post-war recognition of M36 importance came from enemy commanders who acknowledged its role in negating German armor advantages. General Oberst Hasso von Manteuffel, commanding 5th Panzer Army during the Battle of the Bulge, stated in post-war interviews that American tank destroyers eliminated our technical superiority and forced us to fight on equal terms, which we could not afford given American numerical advantages. Historical analysis of M36 impact reveals its significance extended beyond immediate tactical effects to encompass strategic implications for industrial warfare. The weapon system demonstrated that American manufacturing capacity could respond to specific military requirements by developing and producing advanced weapons in quantities sufficient to alter battlefield dynamics. This capability, unique among World War II combatants, provided the United States with sustainable military advantages that enemy forces could not counter through tactical or operational innovations alone. Technological legacy of the 90 gun influenced post-war American anti-tank development and established design principles that guided subsequent weapon systems. The integration of high-velocity guns with mobile platforms became standard American practice, while the emphasis on manufacturing precision and quality control procedures influenced military production standards throughout the Cold War period. Muller's shattered Tiger smoking in the Belgian snow represented more than the destruction of a single tank. It symbolized the moment when American industrial might definitively overcame German technical innovation, when mass production of superior weapon systems eliminated the battlefield advantages that had sustained German resistance. The impossible had become routine. American factories were producing weapons that German engineering could not match, in quantities that German industry could not approach, operated by crews whose training German forces could not equal. The mathematics of industrial warfare had spoken, and the verdict was decisive. If you found this deep dive into World War II's technological turning points fascinating, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more. Untold stories of how American industrial might changed the course of history. Share your thoughts about other weapons that shocked the enemy in the comments below.